Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome today. Good afternoon. I see Ama, I see Alicia, I see Asha, I see several names there. Good afternoon. Carlos and Jordan and Funke and Marsha and Diane and wow, Ali and Williams and Ryan. I'm seeing Shikara. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us for another session in our Level Up program. This Level Up program is a focused series which has provided insight, knowledge, resources to our Black-led businesses. But before we get started, let's begin with our land acknowledgement video. Well, we seem to be having a little bit of a challenge. Give us a few more seconds as we skew that right up. That will be also followed by our legal disclaimer.
As we gather together here as family and friends, we acknowledge this sacred land on which we reside. It has been the site of human activity for 15,000 years. This land is the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently the Mississaugas of the Credit River. The territory was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, this place is still the home of many indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community on this territory. We are also mindful of the broken covenants and the need to strive to make right with our relations. We also acknowledge people of African descent who were brought here against their will or in search of a safe place to live their lives and raise their children. Thank you.
Fabulous. We will also follow this by the legal disclaimer. The ideas and strategies in this program are general in nature and should not be considered advice specific to any individual. They are designed to communicate basic information to help participants understand the basics of the topics presented. The materials neither purport nor intend to give any financial, legal, or tax advice or earnings expectations. Nothing in this program should be considered investment or financial advice. For financial, legal, or other investment advice, you should seek advice from your own trusted independent financial or legal advisor or consult with a qualified advisor prior to acting with regards to the ideas presented in this program. The opinions rendered in this program are those of the presenter and does not necessarily represent those of the BBPA, RBC, HSBC, the Donald Reed, or any of other of our sponsors. With that said, good afternoon, everybody. I thank you for coming out today and joining us for another session of our Level Up program. I'm your host. I'm Anton James. I'm a marketing and strategy consultant and an event host and moderator. Today's program is one of many programs brought to you by the Black Business Professionals Organization, known as the BBPA, which has made significant efforts to understand, respond, and provide services and resources to support our community and their business growth. Specifically, we are in the Level Up program, which is a 13-week program designed to be a finance and funding masterclass for Black-led businesses. So whether you are a startup or you're an established business, this program seeks to help by providing key information from industry experts regarding the fundamental business considerations to help companies scale and grow. Now today's program is the 13th program. So it's the final program in this cohort and the final program in this series, and will focus on government supports to help you scale and reach new markets. But before I go into the program, I am happy to have our VP to come on board and give out greetings on behalf of the BBPA. Ross Kadas is our VP for the BBPA. Mr. Ross Kadas, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Anton. And thank you to our guests for coming on today to some of the government support that we're looking for. As Black businesses, we've been through a very challenging time, and me say this, the things that we need is, or the challenges that we have is lack of access to networks, lack of access to funding, and the financial literacy program seeks to give us the financial literacy that we need um, to um, to be able to help with some of that. And so we're pleased to do this. This is our final session in, I believe it was 13 weeks, and we were looking, I think, around the 4th or 5th of May, we are going to start again. I must say, if I don't say this, my president will be very upset at me. This weekend, on the 17th of April, we'll be celebrating Black excellence in Canada through the Harry Jerome Awards, and I'm sure most of you may have heard of the Harry Jerome Awards. So I would like to invite you to join us at the awards, and tickets details are available online on the harryjeromeawards.com website. I look forward to seeing each one of you at this what we call a virtual gala event as we celebrate Black excellence. So have a good session. Thank you everybody for joining, and Anton, keep being great. Thank you.
Thank you again. That is Ross Kadas, the VP of the BBPA. And thank you again for those who joined it. So one of the things he was mentioning, there's a couple of things. Yes, this is the final in this series, but don't worry, we're going to be starting again within 2 weeks and starting the session again. And essentially, let me give you a background of what the essence of this program is designed to do. It's designed to take Black-led businesses from cradle to grave, to consider all the key fundamental considerations in setting up a business or in elevating a business. So as a quick snapshot, we started off the first 2 weeks. We met with one of the head economists for the HSBC, and then we met the deputy governor of the Bank of Canada. And what that was to understand the landscape. Is the timing right? Is financially speaking, is this the right economy to actually launch a business? Then once we discovered, yes, okay, it was, then let's look, well, what is involved in setting up a business? Whether you're incorporating or you form a partnership. And then we looked at other considerations such as tax implications, and then how do we engage government, and how do we position ourselves for loans, and what about insurance, so we looked at diverse aspects to help handhold individuals right from the beginning to the end. Again, it's part of the mandate of the BBPA. We've been working simultaneously with our actual communities to help them go forward. And this is the final session, but we are there again as they've launched many programs, including programs such as the BAIDS program, which helps businesses provide them actual in-hand support to help them succeed and grow. So again, I'm here. I'm excited to be part of the process and help share and disseminate information. There's a wealth of information. But speaking of wealth of information, I am happy to bring in our guests for today. And they are Sue Rout and Kusala Jayasuriya. And they will be helping and providing us information specifically to helping understand, scale, and growing your business. So who are these individuals? Let me give you a little snapshot of their bio. Sue Rout serves as Deputy Director within the Ontario Regional Office of the Trade Commissioner Services. In this role, she managed a team of officers who support Ontario-based companies in the physical technology space as they internationalize their business. And Kusala Jayasuriya. Ms. Kusala brings 15 years of experience in the medical device, health technologies, and life sciences sectors, including senior management roles in business development, sales, export markets, partnerships, and operations. She's a passionate about working with partners to facilitate collaborative relationships and driving innovation. Relatively new to the public sector, Kusala served as a project officer at the FedDev Ontario prior to joining Innovation Canada as a senior innovation advisor. She holds an honors in the Bachelor of Science from the University of Toronto, a master's from the University of Calgary, and an MBA from the University of Alberta. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy, it's my pleasure to provide you and to introduce to some Sue Rout and Kusala Jayasuriya. Before they get in, let me give you a little background and some understanding of engagement. They will be going through, it will be a discussion program, but for the first little while, they will be having a presentation that followed by someone asking if you have any questions as they do their presentation. Hold your question to the end part, which we'll be doing the questions. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a chat functionality, so that if you have a question and you feel a little bit nervous, you can either type it in the question box or you can raise your hand and I'll raise the questions. So this is definitely designed to be an interactive session. So you have any questions, by all means, because they'll be sharing some very good information to really help propel and help scale organizations. With that said, let us move forward and turn the program over to both Sue and Kusala. Over to you, ladies.
Thank you, Anton. I will be starting the presentation and Sue will follow. I just want to start sharing my screen quickly. Do you see my screen? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction, Anton. And I'm very happy to be here presenting with Sue today. And this is the best part of my job, working with and meeting with businesses and providing some information for them to bring your venture to the next stage. As Anton mentioned, I am a senior innovation advisor with Innovation Canada. And just a quick understanding of the Innovation Canada program, we are a part of the overall umbrella of Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada, which is a federal entity, which manage many programs coast to coast, where in the Innovation Canada itself, we run about 7 programs tailored to Canadian businesses. So first one is, some of them are funding programs, some of them are to help the businesses from early stage all the way to the scale up. First one is being BizPal. Let's say if you're thinking about starting a business and you're maybe ready to incorporate or get established, BizPal is a portal where you can select where you're going to start your business and learn all about the requirements of setting a business, getting registering the business, getting the business number, maybe also other regulations. If you're, for example, food manufacturer, what kind of certifications do you need to have for your business? And then we have Innovative Solutions Canada arm, where if you are a company or a business that would like to have Government of Canada as your first customer with the innovative solution, this program has different types of testing and validation challenges that you can apply to, where you will have, if you're successful, you will have Government of Canada as your first customer. Next, we have Explore IP. Some businesses would like to look at what other technologies are available. And this is a system or database where you can look at all the new technologies that have been patent protected and available for you to license and move into the next step. Next, we have Clean Growth Hub, which provides a more of a customized solution for companies in the clean tech space. So it could be water, air, anything that, alternative energy, anything to do with clean technology. You have a more customized solution services up to the Clean Growth Hub. They also have some funding programs available. Next, we have superclusters when you're talking about more concentrated industry. For example, there are 5 superclusters right now across Canada. In Ontario, we have the manufacturing supercluster, which is called NGen. And then we have AI scale up. It's a digital as well as protein and ocean technologies. So if you are in those fields, they have a lot of resources available to you in those 5 super clusters. Next is Strategic Innovation Fund, which is next. Essentially, you are looking at larger scale projects for established companies, which provide funding about a minimum of $10 million in government funding to help a scale up project in for your business in Canada. And I am part of this umbrella called Accelerated Growth Service. Essentially, we look at high growth, high potential companies in Canada to provide them a more coordinated whole of government approach service. Essentially, let's say a company has multiple challenges. So if you want to look at exploring your international business, you need to raise capital, you need to find partners, you need to protect some advice on your IP. So essentially, instead of having the one business having to reach out to multiple government agencies, through AGS program, you have we bring the government partners to the table around your needs. So it's a more concentrated whole of government approach program. So those are the 7 programs that are available to you through Innovation Canada. Some are advice, some are help, and some are funding programs. So there's different types available depending on what your needs are. To bring all those together, we do have 2 arms that we work with. One is a very easy to use business benefits finder, which is essentially a database of all government programs, both federal and provincial. And then we couple them with innovation advisors. So what do this? I'll start with business benefits finder. What is business benefits finder? Is you might have seen similar databases, but this is a very up-to-date database where what you do as a business, you go to innovation. Sorry, I went too fast. You type in your browser innovation.canada.ca and it opens up a portal. It will ask you quick questions. Where is your business located? What industry you are in? How big your business is? And some other demographic, if you're a female-owned business, a minority-owned business, you can use different filters. What it'll do is it will filter based on your very customized needs. It will filter out all the programs that are applicable to your business. And what it also does is it doesn't only include just the funding programs, but it also have wage subsidies, for example, what this expert advice that's available, what type of tax credits you can take advantage of, and loan programs. So different programs are available. And another feature is that when new programs are added to the database, you can sign up for alert system and you automatically get notified for those new additions to the system. So you don't have to constantly come and explore the program. And once you create your search, you can also save it for you to explore at a later time. That means, you don't have to re-enter the same criteria over and over. And this platform is really well up to date. You can also, they also show you if the program is currently accepting applications or it is closed. It's quickly filters out the closed programs or programs that are not right now active. So you can only focus on the ones that are really accepting applications for you. So that way saves your time as well. So what does the result, business benefit finder result look like? I'll go. So I've done a very quick search for women-owned businesses or women-led businesses. So I picked in the right-hand side, you see all the criteria that I selected. I wanted to look for export support. I need hiring support. And then it'll run all the results for you and all the areas based on your location. So it's for Eastern Ontario companies, Southern Ontario companies, tech companies. So you can look at which programs are applicable to you. So this is for you to keep in and handy, and this is also futuristic. What I mean is that you can, let's say you are in still early stage, but you can actually do a run for when you are trying to scale up, to get an idea what kind of programs will be available to my business when I am ready to scale up. So it is kind of futuristic as well. So the next part of what we couple the innovation benefit finder is with one-on-one person advice for you. So we have about a growing team of 30 innovation advisors coast to coast. They are regionally based, so they can provide you more customized solution advice for where your business is located, because some programs are available only in provincially. Some programs might be delivered through different regional agencies, so that when you reach out to an innovation advisor, as myself, I am from the Toronto GTA region. So if you are in my region, you reach out to me and I work with you one-on-one, try to get more details about your business to better understand, and then try to figure out what type of programs are applicable to you. And this is completely free service. You can email me, contact me anytime, and then we continue that discussion forward as you have your as you explore the programs. So these innovation advisors, they are very new to the government, just like myself, and they actually come from the private sector and having run businesses themselves, and being in your shoes and having to, for example, having to raise money for your business, or trying to get the product out of North America to other export markets, or trying to hire new people in new regions. So based on that, we do understand your challenges, and we can provide you the advice, targeted advice to bring you to the next level. What do we bring? We bring advice, expertise, and connections. So since we do come from a business background, we come not only with the expertise, but we also come with our network that, if we cannot help you, but we can put you in touch with somebody who might be able to move the discussion to the next level. I'll tell you a little bit about this program. So this is a accelerated growth service. What it is essentially in Innovation Canada, what we call our top tier program, where we look for high growth, high potential companies. What we mean by high growth we are looking for about 10% year-over-year growth for the last 3 years, but it is not hard set rule. For example, last year, a lot of companies might not have made the 10% growth rate. Completely understandable, but we are here to help them as well. We look for companies with annual revenues around 3 to 5 million, and then we look at, essentially to make it more value added, we are looking for companies that have more than 1 or 2 needs, and if there are more challenges they are facing, we can tailor that solution with bringing multiple partners to the table. For example, we have a network of 70 partners, both federal, provincial, and other external partners as well. Key partners include BDC, EDC, a Trade Commissioner Service, NRC IRAP, FedDev Ontario, for example. And we all work together to help the company achieve the next goal. And it is about commitment is about 18 to 24 months. Once we have a good connection, after 2 years, your needs are different, your challenges are different. We can again put you through the similar process over again as well. So what's happening in Ontario? So there are about 1,000 different government programs available to you. So, in response to the COVID, there were 94 COVID-related specific programs, but other than that, there are hundreds of other support programs. these support programs come in different, so it's not just capital, capital means grants and loans, but you need to consider wage subsidies, and there are tax credits for in terms of commercialization or R&D. There's expert advice. You want to look at your IP strategy, you can talk to a IP advisor from International Canadian Institute for Intellectual Property Office for free, and just to see your overall strategy as well. So there are different types of services and support programs are available through the government. So some of the COVID related ones, you must be already quite familiar with: the wage subsidy, the rent subsidy, and the CRA business account, and FedDev Ontario's regional relief and recovery fund. As you know, that fund had a second round of funding as well, so we're just continuing to support the companies to get through this very turbulent time. And although they're not very common, we do have some programs are tailored to specific demographics. For example, women-owned businesses, they have a small set of programs that are very specific for that. And for this audience, we do have some programs that for specifically targeting to Black-owned and led businesses and Canadian Black entrepreneurs. So 3 programs that I'm aware, the first one is the Black Entrepreneurship Startup Program. This is through Futurepreneur Canada, and they offer up to $60,000 in startup loan to finance your new venture. And for essentially youth group, Canadian entrepreneurs ages 18 to 39. And not just the funding, the loan, they also provide mentorship and networking opportunities, because there's value in those aspects as well. So they combine a really nice program. If somebody's interested in, I can introduce them to Futurepreneur Canada and apply through them. And there's also tender opportunities through Procurement Canada for Canadian Black-owned led SMEs, that is through the buyandsell.gc.ca. And there's going to be a new program opening up in May this year. Everybody's very excited about it. It might be delivered through the FedDev Ontario for the Ontario region, Southern Ontario companies. It's called the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. They provide loans up to $250,000 to Black-owned businesses and entrepreneurs. So keep an eye out for when that program opens. There has been a lot of interest in that program, so I'm happy to provide you some information about that as the program gets underway. With that, what I do like to do is, although this is very general, not specific to your business, but I love to connect with you one-on-one so I can provide you more tailored approach, tailored solution for your business. This is my email, kusala.jaisuri@canada.ca, or you can also reach out to our call center and they will assign you a advice as well. But going forward, let's discuss if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. With that, I'd like to pass the presentation to Sue.
Thanks very much, Kusala. What a terrific presentation. And she means it. I mean, this is what's really exciting, I think, about having Kusala and myself here today, is that what we hopefully you're getting the picture and having on offer is a wide open door to be able to walk through, to be able to have some of this facilitated, customized access to Government of Canada programs that maybe you are either not aware of or had less access to before. Really hearing that, that is one shortcut that busy entrepreneurs and businesses really need, is that, the ability to have help in combing through those opportunities and knowing at what time is the best time to turn on those different resources. And that Kusala and team myself and team have in spades. That is what we are here to do. It is to make this journey for you more effective and more efficient. So absolutely delighted to be here today. Thank you for the chance to talk to you. I'm going to go and reach for my presentation. I don't need reactions. I need presentations. Share. Apologies. It'll just take me a second. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I can't pick out my presentation. I don't think I'm sharing the right thing, am I? I might need to go back. Oh, my apologies. You are screen sharing. Stop share. One more time. I'm so sorry. I'm just not able to pull up my presentation easily. I'm gonna go forward with it, and then hopefully I can jump maybe back to it in a bit. Without the slides themselves were not as integral, but I'm going to introduce to you the Trade Commissioner Service as a part of federal government. So I sit within Global Affairs Canada. So federal government department, sister department to Information Science and Economic Development, CUSALA's department. What we are mandated to do within the Trade Commissioner Service is to really help your business grow internationally. So our focus, our mandate is to launch. Do you want me to present it to you? Yes, if somebody can pop up the presentation, fantastic. That would be great, Anton, thank you. Perfect. Even better. So this is it. This is the tagline that says it all. Let us help you take your business to the world. And we really super mean it, because the Trade Commissioner Service, it's a service, it's a network, it's a framework for you. And we want to make sure that you're aware of all of its aspects. Anton, could you move to the next slide, please? Perfect. So this is the backdrop against which we want to make sure your business and your firm knows that we're out there and how we can help. So our network itself, just so you know, so a company, we believe a company doesn't need to be large to succeed and reach new markets, but you do need to be prepared. For us, size is way less important than a company's commitment to growing globally. We really, that's the one message we really want to get across, is that preparedness. We see trends really well for success when working internationally. And the TCS, we are here to make that exporting journey more effective, more efficient, more cost efficient, hopefully, for you. And one key to your success is really our people, because we're able to help companies expand around the world, and we know how business is done in other markets because of this unbeatable network of trade commissioners that are part of our Trade Commissioner Service. We are a on-the-ground network of more than 1,000, if you can believe it, 1,000 trade commissioners who are working in over 160 locations globally, as well as 6 regional offices across Canada. So I work in the Ontario regional office and have 5 other sister regional offices across Canada. So we're the in Canada element for you. And this is just absolutely an unparalleled global network that can support companies, particularly SMEs. We really are focused on SMEs to scale internationally. So when a company is ready and think they fit as a client of the TCS, that you're looking to build out that international business development program for yourself, for your firm, the best way to connect is, like Kusala said, is to get in touch with a trade commissioner who is in Canada. So So that would be somebody within if you are based in Ontario, located, it would be somebody within the team that I work with. And it doesn't matter if you come to us directly, or if you would go to Kusala and say, look, what I'm really interested in is looking at she said, scaling internationally. She will ensure that you make it, you come through the door, she'll make sure that you make it to the right places and to the right people at the appropriate times. Her title of kind of senior innovation advisor really, again, says it all. Make sure you utilize her. We really mean it. So this is kind of these in real time touches that we're able to help prepare your firm or sense and push you on preparing your firm to do business abroad. And some of the really helpful things for us to know about you is and your firm is what is unique about your company, product or service. So we're talking goods or service providers. It doesn't have to be just hard, durable goods. It can be absolutely in the service sphere. In fact, it's a very large percentage of work that is done by Canadians service in markets outside of Canada. We'd like to know who the end users of your product and service are. Have you thought about that? Who is your ideal audience? Who's your ideal buyer? We're going to look to talk about what country or region you're targeting and why. We're going to talk about how you plan to enter that market. We're going to talk about how you do business in Canada as well, because it doesn't necessarily mean that one is exclusive to the other or cancels out the other. But once we have a sense of your objectives, we can connect you with our offices abroad, again, where we have these trade commissioners working in market. And we offer 4 core services from the Trade Commissioner Service. You can see them there on the slide under network. It is preparing, international business development preparation. And that usually happens in Canada with the Trade Commissioner at a regional office. I'm seeing some questions come in. I'm going to not let my eyes drift there and keep going, but I will come back to them, we promise. So we prepare in Canada with the Trade Commissioner, understanding your narrative and how we can best position you to our Trade Commissioner colleagues in a particular market abroad. And from them, we ask for that kind of market assessment or gut check as to how competitive is this going to be. How competitive is your product or service, your plan going to be in market? And because those trade commissioners live and breathe, work in market, they are on the ground, they are eyes and ears on the ground, they can give us that kind of market intelligence check as to what's happening. As I said, how competitive you might be. They might be able to provide insights to help mitigate any risks, etc. So that's the second core service of the Trade Commissioner Service. We also excel at providing qualified connections and introductions. That's a third service of the Trade Commissioner Service. And the fourth is problem solving. So we hope that we hope that it's more on the advocacy side and not having to solve and resolve problems, but we are there for that as well, to brainstorm with you on how or why you might be facing a particular challenge and how it can be resolved. So that's our kind of network in tight description, and the 4 core services that are available to Canadian companies to help them promote and succeed in international markets. Some of the business supports there under the second column, that's some of the programming that we have available that's layered on top of the services themselves. That there's trade missions, virtual trade missions in this past year and in the months going forward. But we also very much work on a serve or refer basis. If we cannot serve you, if it is not our mandate, it is not in our purview to do so, we will do our best to make a referral to a group that can, Government of Canada, a Crown Corporation, and to making sure that we want you to have that kind of feeling of seamless service and that you are supported at every stage and journey. But it might not be complete, might not be with me or my team or Kusala or her team, it might be somebody else and their team. And we can talk just a little bit about funding. Anton, do you mind moving to the next slide, please? For funding, we have one very direct funding program that our department is in charge of, and that's can export SMEs, can export small and medium-sized enterprises. And this is a cost-shared program where the Government of Canada expends 75% and the firm yourself expends 25% to execute on a project that you have scoped and designed that is meant to help you diversify your international market traction. So you would choose a set of markets between 1 and 5, where a market usually equals a country, though it can be a subnational piece given the largeness of some countries and the diversity of some countries like Canada, but we're talking international, so we're thinking US, India, Brazil, China, that you can look at subnational markets within those countries, and you can target and say, I have not done business in Colombia, but I think my product would do superbly in that market. This programming can help you cost share and mitigate risk against getting that product to market in that particular market. And it can be up to 5, and we can talk more about it, and happy to get into the details of that. But it's a very versatile, flexible program. At the moment, with travel restrictions, the element of traveling to that market, of course, is ineligible. That cost is not going to be part of your activity plan. And instead, what the government has done is we've looked at enhancing the package for Can Export SMEs to include things that can be done in preparation and without travel. So there's some really nice elements to this program when you're looking at trying to create a new inroads to these markets that you might not have had a chance to penetrate before, or have not had great success in gaining revenue from. This is the program for you if that is top of mind and a priority for you in 2021. And we can go into more detail in that. I think my next and last slide is simply some advice about working with the Trade Commissioner Service and government kind of in general. Anton, I don't know if you can switch the slide. We can just leave it up there. What it was meant to show you, or to kind of seek your feedback on, is that, you know, again, a lot of the programming that Government of Canada has can be very rules-based, bureaucratic, but I think some of the main information that Kusala and I both want to get across is that there's ways to seek and work one-on-one with different advisors, trade commissioners, to be able to brainstorm and have some of these connections facilitated and made for you. But it's based on your persistence. It's based on your willingness to share your narrative and plan together. And it does take time. You know, it is probably, and it's probably the one thing that we have the least of, but it is, we need persistence, we need patience, and then we can see some really, really great results. Anton, I'm going to leave it at that, because I think we'll probably move into some discussion and dialogue.
Absolutely perfect. I thank you for that. That was actually, it was phenomenal information you ladies shared, and I thank you for that. And you know what? Yes, Murphy's Law always seems to kick in place when we're having some of these discussions. But I have some discussions here, but I want to go straight, because timing is short. I want to go straight to some of the questions that came into the chat. Shakara had the first question. It was, do any of these services support the research process to get statistics and information you'll need to access these programs?
Can you read that one again?
Do any of these services support the research process to get the statistics and information you'll need to access these programs? That was by Shakur Grant.
Shakur, I'll try are you asking about more about primary research, because the access to some of the like the finder that Kusala was talking about, there's kind of no limit to your ability to filter and comb through using that database as your starting point. But there, for hard primary market research from a TCS or Trade Commissioner Service perspective, we have some ways and pointers to low cost resources to be able to have some of that primary research maybe on markets. You're talking international markets done for you. An example would be our Crown Corporation Export Development Canada has a tab called the Corporate Knowledge Center, and they have some terrific information based on markets and sectors. It's not deeply descriptive, but it's at least a good start. Kusala, do you have other?
Yeah, if I understood the question correct, let's say you are trying to expand into South Asia, and you need to know some market intelligence for your target customers. If that's what you mean by research and market intelligence, definitely EDC, their market intelligence program. BDC also has some market advisory programs that you can tap into and get that. And then once you figure out, let's say I'll start Singapore as my entry to Southeast Asia, and then you can work with Sue and her team to narrow down, whether it's partners or sales team or suppliers in that area. But definitely those kind of services are available to you.
Perfect. I want to circle back and take it to the basics first of all, and then let's expand back. When you're talking about expanding into new markets, a lot of our constituents at this point, they might just be operating in the local GTA. Are you also helping with expanding, intercity, inter-provinces, and before you even go international, or do you just do export into international?
Maybe I'll start with that, Anton. Definitely. So, if your goal is to first, grow within Canada, so if you're expanding within Ontario, and to then look at interprovincial expansion, sometimes, a company, I've worked with some companies, their primary goal is to expand into the prairies because they see if there's agriculture technology, that's more advantageous for them to opportunities in the prairies to bring that technology there. So what we can do is to connect you with my counterpart working in the Paris team, and then they will be able to help you navigate the local regional system, and tap into different partners, different other business support programs as well in the locally. Just like my expertise is in the GTA and Ontario region, you will be able to touch base with somebody from across Canada, depending on where your starting point outside of Ontario, then work with them and going forward, connect with them as well.
Perfect. Now, in regards to a couple of things, COVID's changed a lot of things. I'm going to be shotgunning here because we have a little time. You guys provide such great information. I want to try to hit some points as quickly as possible. COVID has changed a lot in the environment. Can you give us some insight as to where you're seeing the biggest successes, or what is a typical company, where they should be looking, before they engage you?
So do you want to go?
Sure. I mean, we're really blessed in Ontario, in Canada in particular. If we're looking at sectors of not only priority, but of capability, really across all sectors. You have to be prepared, but I think there really are ways to expand both on an international basis. You just want to hit the right crosshairs. It might be an educational product in the state of Florida. It might be an educational product in Indonesia, but you need to be prepared to know that what's out. I would say for the Trade Commissioner Service, even with the deep impact of COVID, people are still willing and are doing business internationally. And in fact, there's even more of a pressure because people are looking at ways to help themselves diversify. They might have more time to prepare for that, but they're looking because COVID has maybe turned plans sideways. I don't know if that's much of an answer because I'm not picking on specific sectors, but I really think that it's a truthful one. Kusala?
So just to add to that, for sure, and then, if you are expanding, to other scaling up, you want to maybe consider the trends we see because of COVID, that most businesses are forced to go online, right? It could have been a small brick and mortar shop or a sole proprietorship that you sold through, local shops or, events, local events, but now you need to actually bring your business online. So this digital transformation has been essentially fueled by the COVID pandemic. And that I think that has been a good opportunity as well that will help you expand. Once you're online, now your markets essentially open up, right? So there's the opportunity behind this chaotic time. Now you have more opportunities. You are open to more customers, regardless of where your business is located. And then you can expand within your Ontario presence, using different social media platforms, for example, and then expand within Canada, and then consider US, maybe outside of US as well. So I think that's something, a silver lining that came out of the chaosness of COVID is that the opportunities are there.
I just stop for a quick second. The only reason why, because we only have a few minutes left, and you've provided us great information. So I want to hit you real hard with some quick questions. A lot of stuff you've talked about is expansion. Do you guys also support startup businesses? And if so, when you talk additionally, so that's question one. And question two, when you talk about helping them expand into other markets, do you connect them with suppliers from other markets as well?
Definitely. We definitely help smart startup companies, essentially like through the BizPal, just to figuring out what type of business registration do you need, right? Figuring, again, getting your first employees, for example, and there are wage subsidies that you can hire. You might not be hiring a full-time person, but maybe hiring a student as your first hire. So those are a lot of services are available, just the grants, funding, as well as expert support for startup businesses.
Perfect. When you're seeing some of these startup businesses coming, first of all, what point should they be engaging you? Should they be engaging you when they're planning in the startup phase? Should they be engaging you when they start to hit a certain financial status?
So I'll answer that maybe. So I do encourage companies, even when you're thinking about starting a business, to engage with the innovation advisor as early as possible. It means that you might not have many programs available to you right now at very early stage, but at least you can plan your course going forward. You know what the next step would be for you to reach out to the programs, and you already made that connection, right? You're aware, and you can incorporate that.
Perfect, thank you. So let me ask you another question. As you're seeing a lot of these companies starting up, what are the biggest mistakes you're seeing some of these companies do? And if you were to go through, what advice would you give someone as they prepare to set up for you to have the most success?
I don't know, Kusala, if you want to take it from a startup point of view for international business, write it down. You need to prepare. You need a plan. Even if that plan changes, even if 3/4 of it changes because of other inputs, but you need something. Very rarely, it's very hard for government to interact with you without that kind of first thought and reflection done by you. You need to have an understanding of your value proposition. It is probably second after just having a plan in general. Is you need a really strong, considered value proposition. Who you are, what you do, why you're doing it, and your goals. It can change. Don't be fearful of writing it down and thinking that that's now in stone and you can't change it. But until you have that, it's really hard for us to react to help scale you without that kind of considered thought.
One is definitely write it down. If you were to give one more piece of advice to some or mistake you see them happening, one, write it down. Number two would be what? Or is there number two?
I would say read the program guidelines when you're preparing an application very carefully.
Perfect. Question number three became in. This is from Alicia. What would you recommend for someone that wants to expand into the States or have access to the States? Would you recommend having an American LLC while operating a business in Canada? That might be a little specific. I'm not sure.
It's very case by maybe. I mean, but let's talk about it. I mean, why do you think you need it? Is it because you have, operations that you're and employees in the US, or is it simply that you're bringing your revenue back to Canada? There's many ways to structure it. And some will give you more protection. Some will give your employee relationship protection. So you need to talk about it.
Okay, so that was a little more specific. Let's go into, because with the little time we have left, this is what I want to understand. I love the fact that we talked about a lot of support, both in information and funding. But oftentimes, one of the biggest challenges I actually see is they're supporting businesses by giving them debt options. You know what? What the reality is not debt options that they want, is really access to grow their revenue. You spoke about in one of your programs, if I remember correctly, you said in the Innovation Solutions Canada, you help companies get access to government funds as a startup or to access. Let's talk a little bit more about how you can help companies. Is it that you just direct them, go here, or do you also help them navigate or leapfrog the hurdles that previously would cause them to disqualify from getting federal governments or federal procurement processes?
So Innovative Solutions Canada is a very unique program. So it has to be a pre-commercial technology or an idea that when you apply for the program, if you're successful, that government of Canada will be your first customer. That means once you have a first customer, that's a huge leverage for you to bring the technology out to the next customer, right? Having a say. Okay. Exactly. It could be a product or a service as well. So any type of technology or new technology, pre-commercial technology that you want the government of Canada as the first customer.
Perfect. So it's got to be a technology-based company. Again, I would really love to expand some of these ones, but because of time, I'm trying to wrap things real quickly. Can you give us an example of another type of company, for a service-based company? Give us a case study of how you guys helped. Walk us through, generally speaking. You know what? Maybe company A was in its third year. It needed challenges with A, B, and C. We helped this, and they realized a 10% or 15% growth rate. Is there a case study you can give us an idea so people can have understanding?
Hard. Quickly is always hard for us. For example, a company through something like the accelerated growth services. So these are going to be companies that are really butting up against at least $1 million in revenue. So they're going to have cash and availability to be able to explore and execute on some of the programming and or expansion that they need, that is not going to be debt funded or particularly all government funded. But when they come to us and we put our federal family arms around them, we understand, are they having issues with basic research or R&D costs? And we can make sure that a company is making sure that they are exploiting fully things like the scientific research and experimental development, the SHRED credit. Are they using employment in the right ways? Is there a way that they can use youth employment? Big, push this year, of course, because of COVID. If you have needs in your company and you think you can employ somebody from who's a youth university graduate, there are ways that you can bring this talent into your company. Digital transformation, as Kusala said, really big priority of the government this year. So if you're looking to change, transform your digital presence and footprint, there are ways that we would help move you through or recommend these kinds of phases. And then when we get into looking at capital, acquisition, somebody like BDC could come in and make some suggestions more on the loan front and debt ratio than not. But then when you get into international trade, hopefully we would be able to make some qualified connections for buyers or partners in an international market. So just very, very quickly, those are some of the ways that we might be able to, look at supporting. But of course, some of those come, maybe in this next 3 months, it's going to be more innovation procurement that you're looking at. And, and 8 months from now, it's going to be international trade. And that's just fine. It's very different for every, firm.
Absolutely fair. Last question. Can you help us, give us some guidance as to maybe where there's some new emerging opportunities or there's some underutilized, and you can see that they're putting a lot of focus in terms of support for some of, because some of our audiences are their startups or they're in the process of starting up, and maybe some guidance that say, okay, you know what? If you had 30 seconds, and I'm so sorry, right after we go to 3 o'clock, we'll keep asking some questions, but can you give me guidance where the trends might be or where you see the biggest opportunity for growth at the current stage?
Anton, tough question, but it's always industry specific, right? But just to say overall trends, you can see people are moving out of big cities to rural, right? Is there opportunity there to, rural innovation? And also you see digital companies. If you are a service provider to help companies become their online presence, but that could be searching, word searches, advertising, marketing, website development. You have an opportunity to take advantage of this trend, everybody moving online and getting and putting a cart together, for example. And those are kind of the trends that we see. And keep an eye out to the media and how things are going, and you need to kind of think about once the COVID situation ends, or depending on how long it's going to go, you need to support that continuum that for the businesses to recover. That would be huge trend if you are in a position or industry, or if you have an idea, that's something that you should put some resources behind.
Thank you so much, ladies. Miss Suk Kasala, we so thank you for information. I wish we had a few more minutes. We're going to continue going after 3 o'clock, but at least I want to thank you so much for bringing the information you brought on. I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. If you can also put your contact information back on the screen, so for those that do not see it, because I think it's going to be vital. There's definitely going to be someone that's going to be reaching out to you to get additional information. So I want to be, on behalf of the BBPA, I'd like to thank you both for joining out. We're definitely going to have you back again. You have such a wealth of information to share. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, RBC, HSBC, and the Donald Reed Estates for coming through. I'd like to thank for those that came out today. Next week, we'll be having a program. Again, this will be the last of this cohort. We will be on break for about 2 weeks, and we'll be starting the program again. It's a 13-week program, but we continue going through next, as tomorrow, we will also have we'll continue with one of our other programs, which is Ask a Professional. As for tonight, at 6 o'clock, we have the Boss Woman program at 6 o'clock tonight, the Ask a Professional series tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And we have on Saturday, we have the community space, which goes between 10 and 11:30, focused on our youth and our young adults. However, let us not forget, this week is April 17th. And on April 17th, we're going to be celebrating Black Excellence with the Harry Jerome Award. So please look online, go on the BBBA site, and you can find additional information how you can participate in this virtual gala. It will highlight the industry leaders within our organization in diverse sectors. We thank you for everyone that came out today. We thank you for your support. As I said, we continue to support you, and we look forward to coming back again. With that, we thank you all.